Hello everyone, my name is Joan Pinnick and it's nice having you in my class. I'll be your tutor, taking you on some Photoshop lessons. First, today we'll be talking on the basic guide on using the brush, the masking and the eraser tools in Photoshop. Now, these tools, they are tools we use mostly regularly on Photoshop. They make our work easy. They are very fundamental for digital painting, for photo editing and for graphic designing. So firstly, we'll be talking about the brush tool. The brush tool is used for painting and drawing on layers with different colors, textures and shapes. How to use the brush tool? Firstly, you should have these tools, maybe not advanced, but you should have majority of them on your software, your Photoshop software. So I suppose you should have learned some of the basic tools like this, the V, the moving tool and the rest. But today we'll be talking about the brush tool firstly, which is this. You find it here, and so the shortcut is B, as it is indicated here, but it's very essential to know shortcut for every tool you use on, not every tool, but tools you use regularly. You should know shortcuts. So why it's not showing on my screen is because I'm on a text layer. If I was on the background layer, you can see it's showing now, or if I create a new layer, you see it's still visible. So V is for move, B is for brush tool. So you choose a brush here at the right side, the setting at the top menu. You have different brush, some are soft, hard, textured. You can even download custom brushes. So I will go through this setting with you. We have the size. This is where you move you size your brush how you want it to be. So this, you can see over here, if I move to 50, you see it's very small. If I move it to 400, 2000, you see it's very large. You can do this manually if you see your with the bracket key, your bracket key on your system, on your laptop. Sorry, but you can see what I'm trying to do there. If you press the brackets, the first bracket is to decrease, the second bracket, the open bracket to decrease, the closed bracket is to increase. You increase the size of your brush tool. That's the shortcuts. Then over here, you see this shows the hardness of the brush. I will show you how that works, but firstly, this settings, the more you use Photoshop, you keep exploring, keep practicing, you get to understand it better. So firstly, let me make this bigger. But firstly, if you look at this, trying to do something, yes, sorry, it took me that long. So if you look at this, you see the soft round brush. The problem is you won't be able to see how it works. We have the soft round brush, and then we have the soft round brush. I want you to be able to see how I use it. Okay, we have the soft round brush. It's very soft. So for color, right now you see this brown. This determines the color that your brush will be painting. You can, if you know, the I is for the eyedropper tool. The eyedropper tool is your color picker. It picks color, but then it picks not just color, it picks text. It's eyedropper tool because it's samples color from images. It also samples text. But then what the point is, if you click on Alt, you get to sample the color, which color you want. If you can see on my screen over here, you see the color is changing. So you can sample whichever color you want, Then let's go back to our screen. Let's see the difference. You can equally click on it and change it, the color. So back to B. So you see it's soft. It's the, you can see the texture. So let's undo. If you look back here, if you see the hard round brush, so okay, it's not my layer. Okay, yes, it's back. So now we are on the hard round brush. Is very hard. You see, it's just like spaced. It's hard. It's not like the soft round brush that it gives this soft touch. You see the difference? Okay. Now, if we go over to the next one, some of these brushes they might look similar, but they have, if you're an artist, in the process of time, when you find a niche, you get to explore more and see their differences. There are other types of brushes. We have dry brushes that do different, they have different functions, different styles. And okay, so now let's go back with the soft round brush. You can adjust, like I said, the brush setting, determine how hard or soft you want it to be. Like even this soft round brush that we chose, you can decide for it to be a hard brush. Sorry, this size is too much. See, it's hard because we increased the hardness of this very soft round brush. So if we reduce the hardness, it becomes soft. You see, like I said, the hardness determines if the brush has a soft or sharp edge. As you saw, the opacity and flow controls transparency and intensity of strokes. So you see, the opacity itself determines the transparency. Now I'm painting, you can't see anything, right? But then if I increase the opacity to 40, you can see some light shades. That is how you add depth and you add shades, lights to your artwork, to your design, to whatever you're doing. Like over in this design, let's use this. You see there's a certain light. Let's probably use this. If you notice the design, there's a certain, okay, over here. Okay, now you can see, if you notice, as I toggled the button off, there was a light on her face that's like left. I toggle it on, you see the brightness, behind her is back. So it gives a certain form of depth to your artwork. You use the brush to draw shadows. If a person is standing, the person it should have a shadow. If an object should have shadow, so you use the brush tool for that purpose. Also, so when you increase the opacity, that's what you get. When you decrease the opacity, it's lighter. Now the flow itself determines the intensity of the stroke. If you see how fast it can be, the flow is at 100. Let's reduce it to 1 and see. It's very light, but if we increase the flow to 50, you see it's brighter. So these two are very important. The blending mode determines how it comes out. Now let's use a different color and see how it would be. Let's use a darker color and see how it reflects. On dissolve, you see how the brush comes out. On screen, you see how it comes out. On difference, you see how it comes out is darker. So the blending mode allows you to blend colors in different way. Now, painting on a new layer, you always create a new layer before you paint. Do not paint on a layer. Like I will keep showing you examples. Do not paint on the layer of something you are already working on, because you can't erase it. If you paint on the image, you can't erase it because it takes a lot of time. So it's always best there's a shortcut, Ctrl Shift N, because now if I paint on this layer now, I can't erase it. I've painted on it. If I keep working, and then on my history I've passed everything, I can't go back, I can't undo it. So you always paint on a new layer. So in case you do not like that what you did, you easily delete the layer and you start again. Then this keeps your work, like I said, non-destructive and editable. Some tips you should know is, if you use a graphic tablet, it gives you a more pressure sensitive stroke, smooth pressure sensitive stroke. What I mean, when you are using just the way artists draw with pen, they are precise. So when you draw with, if you know a graphic tablet, you can search on Google, it gives you that control over how your brush should be. You know, when artists draw, they get to control how soft or how thick or how light or how precise their strokes should be. And also I would encourage you to try different brush blending modes, like multiply, overlay, soft light for creative effect. Personally, what I do, like if I paint over, I come over here. If I use a brush type, I usually use on that layer, on the new layer where I do this. It's even on difference. Let's make it normal. On the new layer where I do this, I come over here to determine how I want it to be. It's still the same thing. It's still the same blending mode. It's about blending mode, but then I feel I have more control over it in blending mode. So you can see the effect it creates on the image. Now we'll be talking about the layer masking. Now, what's layer mask? Layer mask allows you to hide or reveal parts of a layer without erasing them permanently. This is useful for non-destructive editing. Very useful. Now, how do you add the layer mask? Let me make this larger. You come over here. Sometimes your tool, when you click over it, to tell you this is this, but then this is for create. You can see create a new layer. This is for delete a layer. This is to create a new group. This is for create new fill or adjustment layer, and this is for add the layer mask. This is for add the layer style, and this one is to link layers. So this one not active because it's your background. Now you see this is active, and then probably when you click on another layer, this will link layer. You see this is active, but right now we are working on adding a layer mask. So let's come over here. If I click on this to make this a layer and not a background, and so I've added the layer mask. And so when you use black or white, You see, immediately as I clicked layer mask, let's go back. Ctrl Z for going back, to go back. Shift Ctrl Z to go to redo. You Ctrl Z. I'll be saying some useful and normal regular tips and regular shortcuts we use on Photoshop. Ctrl Z to undo your work, to undo whatever you did, while Shift Ctrl Z on your laptop to redo whatever you did. So I redid making my background a layer. As you can see over here, this is your history panel, your history bar tab. It shows you all you have done. So now, immediately as I clicked on layer mask, add a layer, a vector mask or a layer mask, you see this place immediately turns white and black because we work with white and black. The black hides parts of the layer, while white reveals parts of the layer. Now I'll make this more practical. I'll create a new layer. I'll draw this. Okay, that's good. Now I will add the layer mask. So with your brush tool, the brush tool is what you use for most of these activities, although we have other tools, but now to work with layer mask you use the brush tool. Then let me decrease my brush size. That's open brackets. We are on black, so we want to hide some layers. You can see black erases or let's say hides some of the layer. But now if you press X, it switches this thing. That's another shortcut. X switches it sets your foreground color or your background color. So this white is right now the foreground color, this black is your background color. So right now, if you take it back, you see it's your background color. You take it back to black, to white, X to white, it reveals. You see what I removed is coming back. That is how it works. Now while the gray creates transparent effects, so we have the gray over here and gives it's almost like the black. It's almost like it's almost works like the black, which kind of erases what you've done. It's like an eraser, but it's not as thick as the black. Now Ctrl Z, because we're still working on this. You paint on the marks with the brush. So like I say, you select the marks thumbnail in layers panel, and then use the soft brush with black, erase parts of the image smoothly, switch between them with the S key like I've told you. Now some tips: if you hold Alt and click on the max thumbnail, let's undo what we did, let's redo what we did. You hold Alt and click Alt key on your laptop and click on the max thumbnail, you view the max, you view what you maxed. Right now we didn't even max anything. Let's max something. So there we go. Hold Alt and click on max. It shows us what we maxed, what we hid. You see what we hid or what we removed. Also, you use the gradient on the max for smooth blending effects, is what I mean. Use the gradient on the max too. 1 minute. for smooth effect. You see that smooth effect. If you want to create a simple transition, now I place this thing on this image. Let's make it bigger. Okay, right. Now let's take it back. So because if I want to cover that place now, I use G with the shortcut for your gradient to G, letter G. If I draw it down, hold shift key to make it straight. You see this smooth effect it gives? Yes, it works with the max. So this is the purpose, the work of the max. So if you use the brush tool also, that's why the brush tool is usually on. You can use on a layer mask or on a new layer for non-destructive work. If I see I use my brush tool and now I'm cleaning, you see it's all it's like. Finally, we will talk about the eraser tool. Now this is a very is a tool that removes pixels from a layer permanently. With the brush tool, with the mask, with the brush tool, with the layer mask, you get to edit. You can still recover some things if you follow the instruction. But with the eraser tool, you are literally removing it permanently. Like I said, if you do not have your history, if you had gone far and it's something you can't recall, you've lost. You've undone your work and you can't redo it again. So whenever it comes handy, actually comes handy. But whenever you are using it, you have to be very careful and watchful. Yes, you have to be. Now I'll show you an example of how that works. And if the shortcut is letter E. It erases. This is the eraser tool. It erases everything. Okay, we are still even on the max layer. Let's come to the normal layer. Let's read this together. You see, it literally erases, because I don't have a background. If I had a background, you'll be seeing what's on that. It literally erases everything and I can't get it back. I can't, except if I undo. But if I've gone far, I've cleaned it. It's not like, let's undo. If I add a layer mask to this layer, if I clean it, good and fine. Sorry, okay, I'm still using my eraser tool. Let's use the brush tool. If I clean it, good and fine. If I press because I'm still on dark, let's go to white, which for review. If I press the white and I'm back to it, it has restored. So there are different types of eraser. So we have the normal one over here. We have the eraser tool that erases like normal brush. We have the background eraser tool that erases background while keeping the edges intact. And then we have the magic eraser tool that erases area of similar colors instantly. Let me show you how this works. Like over here, you see we have white. It erases all. It's erased every white. Let's zoom in. It erased every white. Ctrl Z for you to see, and then you click again. All the whites that was in the letter J, all the white, because it's what, that's the magic eraser tool, is to erase things, areas of similar colors instantly. Like now, if you come to the face of the model, you see this brown, because it felt that everything has the same shade, so it erased everything related to it. See, that's just how it works. Now you can adjust the size, it's just like the brush tool. And the opacity, the hardness of it, obviously you can adjust everything here. And then you click and drag on layer to erase unwanted areas. It actually comes in handy. Maybe if I want to write on this page, I don't want to see all these, and I don't want to have to cover it, draw over it like the way I did with this tablet. Just easily remove it, place this there, I know, over. Sorry, my laptop is lagging with the J tool to draw, or with the B tool. Sorry, you go by it. There you go. The problem with it is that you can't undo what you've done. You can't undo it, so you have to be careful whenever you are using the eraser tool. And then lower opacity for a subtle erasing effect if you want to be subtle. And then the background eraser tool is great for removing backgrounds from images with complex edges. And now that brings us to the end of the class. I hope you enjoyed the class. I really do hope you did. And you'll be having some class practice exercise. Practice is very important. For you to learn a skill, you have to practice. Constant practice. So now I want you to create with the brush tool. I want you to create a new layer. Practice painting with different brushes, brush setting. With the layer mask, I want you to apply a mask to an image and blend it with a background like I did. You know, the way I draw that rectangle, I want to blend with this. I want to blend, create a blending, so blend the image and and the background, blend the image with the background. And let me show you a trick. Over here, okay, but let's use this. You can see these have similar color. Now apply layer mask, and you see I blended these two images together. You can see the wonders of Photoshop. Now I want you to do something like this. I use the brush tool. You can equally use the gradient tool, but now since we are dealing with the brush tool, I want to use the brush tool and get conversant with it. Then also lastly, I want to use the eraser tool. So I want you to erase the background and see how you have keep trying things out. You will see the consequences of some of the actions, and see if it's something you can reverse or not. By mastering these three tools, you will be able to create professional looking designs and expert work on Photoshop. Once again, I'm Joan Pinnick, and thank you for having me. I hope to see you in the next class. Have a great day.